Hey guys, just with JHart Modelworks coming to you with a cars and coffee. I have my car. I have my coffee. Well, it's in a coffee mug. So this is Testors boxing of Italeri's Ferrari 250GT SWB California Spyder. That is a mouthful. I've had to say that 3 times, so there's going to be some editing. This is my very first Holy Grail kit, and it's the only one of the Holy Grail kits that I've gotten that I've actually built. I need to fix that. So this is one of my early kits. The photos date back to 2019, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot older than that. I think that's just when the photos were copied over to my computer. This is also one of the very first kits that I did a lot of my really crazy level detailing on. So we're going to go ahead and get you guys switched over to the overhead, and we're going to take a look at this and see if I can remember what all I've done. I'm not going to remember what all I've done. But before we do that, I want to do a quick bench update. Pretty much nothing has gone on with the Mustang. I lost the instructions for about 2 days, and honestly, that's not even the real reason why nothing's going on. With the Porsche Boxster done, I didn't have a side project until I decided that I was going to have a side project. But that side project is something that I have no idea how to do, and I didn't even know if it was going to be a real thing. I'm at the point now where it's a real thing. I've messed a whole bunch of stuff up, but I've been having an absolute blast with it. I'm building my first ever diorama, and I have no clue. I've done things wrong. I've done things probably way more expensive than I should have. It's been kind of crazy, but it's been a lot of fun, and my brain will just not let go of it. So I'm having a hard time focusing on pretty much anything else. I've told myself all weekend that I need to work on the Mustang, I need to do the interior, and I just haven't done it. So, I need to get on the Mustang. I need to work on the Mustang. I may or may not have a video out on the Mustang next week. We will see what happens. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, has anyone heard from Mitchell over at Insomnia Hobbies? He hasn't posted anything on YouTube or Instagram since January. I've sent him messages on, I don't think I've got him on Facebook, but I have him on Instagram, and I've got no responses out of him. So if anybody knows anything, if anybody has heard from him, if anybody knows if he's doing okay, let me know, because I know he was going through some stuff towards the end of the year last year, and a little concerned, especially seeing as I haven't heard from him, literally a peep in over half a year. So if anybody knows, let me know. Would be great. Or at least just tell him that I'm thinking about him and I said, hey. Let's go ahead and get this flipped around and start taking a look at the model. Alright, so the California Spyder. This is my favorite car, like, in existence. I made a list on Facebook years ago, probably close to 10 years ago. I made a list of 10 cars that if I could drive any car for a day, what car would it be? And this was the car at the very top of the list. This is, in my opinion, the most beautiful car ever made. This kit is a little rough, not gonna lie. And then me making modifications when I'm new and don't know what I'm doing didn't really help. But that's okay. Model building is fun, and that's why we do it. As I said, this is the Testors boxing of the Italeri kit for the 250GT California Spyder. When I got this, these were going for 100 to 150 easy, like every single time. And as I've mentioned before, I make a list and I keep a running list throughout the year of things that I want. so that come Christmas or my birthday, when my wife says, "What do you want for Christmas?" I can tell her, well, I messed up and I didn't keep that list. So I had no idea, and I knew that she was going to ask. So I was looking for things. And like I said, the Holy Grail kit is that kit that no matter what you're looking for, you'll look for that kit anyhow, just to see if maybe you might find it on a bargain. You know you're not going to, but you'll look anyhow. Like, you could be looking for like an R34 Skyline, or a 69 Mustang, something like that. But in the back of your head, you're like, let's see if he's got one of those. Nope, he doesn't. Okay. But you're always looking for it. Well, that's what this kit was. I was always looking for this kit. So I'm looking at cheap kits to throw on my Christmas list. And I'm on eBay, and I thought, well, let's see. And I go and I search, and I found one with a buy it now price of $40. And I called my wife over immediately, and I'm like, Carol, you're gonna ask me what you want to get me, what I want for Christmas. This is what I want. I want this kit, like this kit right now. Buy it before someone else does. That is a crazy, insane price. Get it. And she's like, really? You want to already know what your Christmas gift is? Really? Well, go ahead and get it. And so I got it. So I snagged this kit for $40 because I didn't know at the time that, unlike the 250 SWB, which Italeri only printed once and no one reprinted, this had been boxed by Italeri. It had been reboxed by Testors. It had been since reboxed by Revell and Academy, and I think maybe ICM, or ICM may have done like the AMT version. I can't remember who ICM did, but I think ICM did a version 2. So I didn't know that you could actually find these at a reasonable price if you just searched for, Revell instead of Testors. But I found it and I got it, and that's all that matters. The paint is Zero Paints Ferrari Azzurro California. This was way back when, because I was still using Zero Paints. I almost never spray Zero Paints anymore because they're just so difficult. And it was one of my first cars to use 2K Clear on. The paint came out pretty good, especially for Zero. Zero Paints is kind of notorious that they're using automotive grade UK lacquer paints from Lechler, and so a lot of times their paint is not scaled well, so the flake kind of looks like granite. But this one actually came out really, really nice. I think I was using Zero Paints Ferrari Beige. I still use the interior colors, the Ferrari interior colors from Zero, because they are pretty nice. This is also where I learned to do the burl wood that I do. I did a tutorial when I first started YouTube on how to do this wood, and it was from learning to do it for this wood finish. Come on, Samsung, you can focus. Or I guess you can't. That phone is so dumb. So yeah. Some bare metal foil down here on the ashtray. I was doing seat belts. I think those are Model Car Garage seat belts. But it was an attempt. Some bare metal foil up here on these little latches. I think I bare metal foiled. I may have painted these door handles. These are my first endeavor into 3D printing, not like me 3D printing. Shapeways. Back in the day, like, nobody did 3D printing. No one was doing it, but Shapeways had stuff. And so I spent like probably 10 or 15 bucks. These are a recreation of the actual Ferrari 250 seats. the ones in the kit are genuinely terrible, and these are the correct seats for the car. So those turned out really nice. The door handle, the door pulls in there, are a piece of jewelry wire that I smashed with pliers to make that flat surface. Like I said, I was making stuff as I was going. This is one of my first attempts. We have my stick shift with the sewing pin. That's the first kit that I did that on, if I remember correctly. So yeah, Model Factory Hero wheels, which do not fit well. I don't remember if I had to make modifications to get those to go on or not, but they do kind of rub on the body a little bit. It was an early build. This is also where I got those 3D emblems. The 3D, I used them recently on the Porsche, but I have a set of 3D emblems for Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche logos. I got them specifically to do on this kit. Sadly, I didn't get it straight, but these glass over the headlights, again, some bare metal foil, very badly done, very early kit. Then we get to the beautiful engine that I absolutely love. That's that Colombo V12 from Ferrari. I did wire the plugs. You can barely see them down in there, and they go into a metal rod that I added to the valve cover, because that's how Ferrari did these engines. All the plugs ran up into a metal tube, and they all came out and went into the dual distributors back there. The fuel hose on the front and back ends, that is guitar string. That is corded metal guitar string. Some copper wire to do the overflow off of the radiator. I scratch built some, I think I scratch built them. Those may be aftermarket. Yeah, I think those are aftermarket. I think those are like Detail Master on the ignition coils, but I did add the ignition coils. I ditched the little scoop thing so that I could make this. This is soldered in jewelry wire. I cut the carbs separate because the carbs are one piece, and I put like a piece of wire running through them. I didn't really know how carbs worked at the time, so that's shouldn't actually be there. But basically, this kit, the 250 SWB kit and the 250 GTO kit, all come with the exact same black sprues, which are the engine sprues. So you get the parts for the 250 GTO and the 250 GT engine. So one has 6 and one has 3 on the carburetors. I also used electrical ferrules instead of using with the really bad kit ones that they included on their chrome sprue. This is my first rendezvous with electrical ferrules for doing those. They didn't come out great, but they're not horrible. I think that's the majority of what we did on the engine bay there. I made an attempt at... No, those are the kit ones. I thought those might be photo etched, but no, those are the kit ones. I just painted them silver. Some more really bad bare metal foil down here, but I had so much fun building this kit though. One of my very first attempts at using aluminum tube to make exhaust tips, because I didn't like the ones that came on the kit were just like solid lumps that came out the back. I have all of my brake lines, my e-brake, and both of my brakes for the drums. There's a fuel line running down in there that goes up to the gas tank. one of my very first Texas license plates. I just did it on a piece. At the time I was using cardstock, and I would just glue the cardstock on. So I did that. I did grab some 3D emblems for the Ferrari script. That's where my Ferrari script emblems come from. All for this, all the aftermarket Ferrari stuff that I have was bought pretty much for this car. Alright guys, so that is going to be my first participation in Model Cars and Coffee, hosted by Paul over at Left Coast Models. Thanks, Paul. This has been a lot of fun. It was a really cool idea. I will try to do another one at some point in time. I need to focus on the interior for the Mustang and get the Mustang interior done. I would like to have... I'm pretty sure that kit is not going to be done in time for me to take it down to Houston for the Space City Shootout show, which I do intend to go to. Fingers crossed I get to meet JT down there, because I know JT from I Need My Garage Time has been posting that the flyer for that show on his videos lately. So hopefully that means that he's going to be going to that. Other than that, I think the only other show that I really plan on hitting this year is the Dedicated Scale Model Enthusiast Magazine's Super Show, which is going to be up here in Denton. That's hosted by a lot of really cool guys. I know Willie Ramirez Jr. from Dedicated Magazine, as well as Down to Scale, which is the model car club that I'm a member of. He's going to be down here for that. David from I know the name, Detail Junkies. I just couldn't think of I couldn't get the name out. David from Detail Junkies is also a host for that. My understanding is a lot of the Down to Scale guys are going to come down here and probably kick my butt on the tables. That is okay, because it's going to be awesome to put some faces with all the guys from the club. So I'm really looking forward to that show as well. I'm hoping to have the diorama ready for that show. So as far as the diorama goes, my plan was... So I refer to my model car collection as my Jay Leno's Garage. I've also referred to it as my lottery garage. So if I had the money to buy whatever I wanted, these are the cars I'd be buying. So instead I'm building them, because I ain't affording these cars. So I wanted to do one of those really fancy high-end garages. Something, you know, like you see the YouTubers, you know, Jay Leno's Garage or Shmi 150, or, you know, channels like that where they've got this super fancy layout and they've got, you know, a mezzanine that overlooks the car collection, stuff like that. It also is going to be serving as a photo booth, because right now when I take pictures for my final photos and whatnot, I'm just shooting them against a big piece of black poster board, and I wanted something nicer. I've always wanted to do, because I keep my models in a bookcase, in like a cheap IKEA Billy bookshelf, which they aren't cheap anymore. At one point in time they were up to like $100 and something bucks. It was insane. I wanted to get another one, and I wanted to dedicate a shelf to this kind of idea of building a scale garage. And, you know, the wife has informed me that we do not have the space for another bookshelf full of model cars. So, well, it just kind of wasn't going to happen until one day I was just like, you know, the Porsche's done. I've got nothing else going on. You know, I could just build a garage. And I started tinkering with the idea, and the next thing you know, I actually did the idea, and the wife was like, you didn't talk to me about doing this. And I'm like, well, I kind of just did it. It was one of those impulse things. ADHD. We don't always think things through. We just do them. So yeah, so that got started, and it's just been so much fun that I'm 3D modeling stuff, I'm 3D printing stuff, tons of like just I've scratch built an epoxy floor because, you know, the fancy garages have epoxy floors. Well, instead of, you know, doing it the cheap and simple way, I actually poured an epoxy floor. I've been having a blast. So I need to actually focus and get back to work on the Mustang. I also need to get to work on, there's a Trans Am. The neighbor next door, I refer to him as Pops because I think of him and his wife as the mom and dad that I didn't have. You know, my dad passed when I was 13. My relationship with my mother was never great, so it was not after he passed, it just really wasn't. When we moved into our house here, we were having the house built. These two elderly people came over and greeted us, and I mean, this guy has taught me like how to change my brakes. He taught me how to repair the toilet. He taught me how to fix the sink. He's that guy you're going to borrowing stuff just like you would your pops, you know. So I promised him I would build this Trans Am for him, so I need to get on that as well. That's going to be my next official side project. I may do a video on the garage once I get it a little more finalized. Like I said, it's now to the point where it's really going to be a thing. I've messed up several sheets of foam board, but I figured out how to get the walls up, so I have a floor and walls and some lighting, you know. Seamus would be proud. So I may do a video on that sometime as well. Thanks for hanging out with me and doing model cars and coffee. Again, this is a lot of fun, Paul, and I will catch you guys on the next one.